The summer sun beat down on the dusty gravel road as our old pickup truck rattled toward the family farm in rural Iowa. I glanced over at my older brother, Jake, his hands steady on the wheel, jaw set in that familiar determined line I'd known since we were kids. But something felt off this time. His usual easy banter was replaced by a heavy silence, and when he caught my eye, there was a flicker of something unspoken that made my stomach twist. We'd grown up in this place, two boys in a conservative town where church on Sundays and hard work defined life. Jake, 5 years my senior, had always been my protector, the one who taught me to throw a punch and fix a fence. But after he left for college in Chicago and I followed suit a few years later, we drifted into our own worlds. Now, at 25, he was back home helping Dad with the harvest, and I'd come along for what was supposed to be a simple weekend escape from city life. Little did I know, this trip would unearth secrets that could shatter everything. As we pulled up to the weathered farmhouse, the air thick with the scent of hay and earth, Jake finally spoke. "Alex, there's something I need to tell you. But not here, not yet." His voice was low, almost a whisper, as if the walls of our childhood home had ears. I nodded, unease settling in like fog over the fields. That night, after Dad had gone to bed early, complaining about his aching back, Jake and I sat on the porch swing, beers in hand, staring at the stars. The crickets chirped their endless song, and the world felt vast yet confining. "I've been struggling, man," Jake started, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "Back in Chicago, I met someone. It didn't work out, but it made me realize things about myself." I waited, heart pounding, sensing the weight of his words. "I'm gay, Alex. Have been for years, but I couldn't admit it. Not here, not to Dad, not even to you at first." The revelation hit me like a cold gust of wind. My brother, the football star, the guy every girl in town had crushed on, gay? It wasn't shock from disgust. It was the fear of what this meant in our world. Our town was the kind where rainbow flags were whispers, and anything outside the norm invited judgment or worse. "Why now?" I asked, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "Because I can't hide anymore," he replied, his eyes meeting mine with a vulnerability I'd never seen. "And you're the only one I trust." The next morning, we worked the field side by side, the physical labor a distraction from the emotional quake. Dad barked orders as usual, oblivious to the undercurrent between us. But as the day wore on, I found myself watching Jake differently. His strong arms heaving bales, sweat glistening on his skin under the relentless sun. It wasn't attraction, not yet. It was a deeper connection, a shared secret binding us tighter than blood. That evening, over Mom's leftover apple pie, she'd passed years ago, but her recipes lingered, Jake opened up more. "Remember that summer when I was 18 and you were 13? I caught you crying after those bullies at school called you names." I nodded, the memory stinging. "I wanted to protect you then, and now, I need you to protect me too." His hand brushed mine across the table, a simple touch that lingered too long, sending a spark through me. Was it brotherly, or something more? I pulled away, confused, the pie turning sour in my mouth. As nights blurred into days, the farm became our confessional. Jake shared stories of hidden dates in the city, the ache of pretending, the fear of rejection. I listened, my own life in Boston feeling trivial, a string of failed relationships with women that never felt right. Maybe I'm just picky, I'd say, but deep down, doubts crept in. One afternoon, while fixing the old barn roof, a storm rolled in unexpectedly. Thunder cracked, rain poured, and we huddled inside, drenched and laughing at first. But the laughter faded as Jake turned serious. "Alex, being here with you feels right, like I can be myself." His proximity in the dim light, the scent of rain and hay mingling, stirred something unfamiliar. Our eyes locked, and for a moment, the world narrowed to just us. He leaned in, hesitating, and I didn't pull away. It was a kiss, soft, tentative, born of years of unspoken bond. Panic surged through me as we broke apart. "This can't happen," I whispered. "We're brothers." The word hung heavy, a taboo that society screamed against. Jake's face crumpled. I know. God, I know. But is it wrong if it feels like love? We didn't speak of it again that night, but the seed was planted, conflicts blooming like weeds in the fertile soil of our isolation. The following days were a whirlwind of tension. Dad noticed our distracted states, grumbling about city boys gone soft. At church on Sunday, the preacher railed against modern sins, his words like arrows aimed at us. I sat rigid, Jake beside me, our knees brushing accidentally? Or was it? The hypocrisy burned. A community preaching love while fostering hate. One evening, as we walked the fence line at dusk, Jake confessed more. I felt this way about you for years, Alex. Not just brotherly. It's why I left for college, to escape it. Shock rippled through me. Me? But why? He stopped, turning to face me. Because you're the only one who ever truly saw me. His honesty cracked my defenses, and I admitted my own confusion. I've never felt this pull with anyone else. We embraced, not as lovers yet, but as two souls entangled in forbidden territory. Yet doubt gnawed. Was this real, or just the isolation amplifying emotions? Society's voice echoed. Unnatural, immoral. But in our bubble it felt pure. The conflict escalated when a neighbor, old Mr. Harlan, dropped by with gossip. Heard about that scandal in town. Two fellas caught together. Disgraceful. Dad nodded agreement, and Jake's face paled. I changed the subject, but the fear was real. As the weekend stretched into a week, work demands keeping us there, the pull grew stronger. Stolen glances, shared silences, a hand on the shoulder lingering. One night, under the stars again, Jake said, "We could leave, start fresh somewhere accepting." The idea tempted, but roots ran deep. What about Dad? Family? I countered. They'd disown us. The debate raged, emotions raw. The farm's rhythm continued, but our secret pulsed beneath it like a hidden heartbeat. Mornings started with coffee and averted eyes. Afternoons with labor that distracted but didn't erase the tension. Dad, ever the stoic farmer, sensed something amiss. "You boys fighting?" he'd ask, and we'd mumble denials. But the real fight was internal, against norms we'd been raised with, against the love that defied them. Jake and I found moments alone in the vast fields, where cornstalks whispered secrets. "Alex, this isn't just confusion," he said one day, as we rested under an oak tree. "I've loved you differently since we were teens. Remember wrestling in the hayloft? It was more for me." I recalled those innocent plays, now tinted with new meaning. "I felt safe with you," I admitted. Maybe that's why nothing else worked. Our hands intertwined, a simple act loaded with complexity. But reality intruded harshly. A call from my Boston job reminded me of life beyond the farm, deadlines, normalcy. Jake had his own ties in Chicago, a life he'd built in shadows. "We can't ignore the world forever," I said. He nodded, pain etching his features. "But ignoring this feels like dying inside." The conflict deepened when Aunt Clara visited, her sharp eyes missing nothing. A devout woman, she preached family values over lunch. Blood is thicker than water, but sin can poison it. Her words stung, unwitting barbs. Later, Jake confided, "If they knew, it'd kill Dad." Our father, widowed and worn, clung to tradition like a lifeline. That night, a heated argument erupted in the barn. "This is wrong, Jake. Society says so, religion says so." I paced, frustration boiling. "Society's wrong about a lot," he shot back. "They said being gay was wrong too. Love isn't a choice." His logic pierced my defenses, but fear held firm. "We're brothers. That's the line." He stepped closer, eyes pleading. "Lines are drawn by people. What if ours is different?" We parted unresolved, the air thick with unspoken desire. Sleep evaded me, thoughts swirling. Was this nurture or nature? Years of closeness blurring boundaries. Morning brought no clarity, only more work. But during a break, Jake pulled me aside. "I found letters Mom wrote before she died. She knew about me, Alex. Accepted it." Shock washed over me. Our mother, the gentle heart of the family, had seen his truth. Reading them together in the attic, dust motes dancing in sunlight, her words healed and hurt. Love who you love, Jake. God sees the heart. Tears flowed, a release. She'd understand us, Jake whispered. I wanted to believe it, but doubt lingered. Us? This is beyond. The plot thickened with external pressure. News from town. A local gay couple faced harassment, their barn vandalized. Dad commented at dinner, serves them right for flaunting. Jake's fork clattered, his face a mask. Later, he raged, that's our future if we stay. I calmed him, but the fear seeded paranoia. Were eyes on us? Whispers. In a moment of vulnerability, we shared a dance in the living room to an old radio tune. Lights low. It was innocent, yet intimate. His head on my shoulder, swaying to the melody. This feels right, I murmured, barriers crumbling. But a knock at the door shattered it. A neighbor needing help with a calf. We sprang apart, hearts racing. As days passed, the emotional toll mounted. Jake grew distant, protective. If this hurts you, I'll stop. But stopping felt impossible. I researched online late at night. Stories of sibling love, rare and reviled, yet real for some. Psychology labeled it taboo, society criminal. But personal accounts spoke of deep bonds defying labels. A turning point came during a family gathering. Cousins arrived, filling the house with noise. Amid the chaos, Jake and I stole away to the pond. Sitting on the dock, feet dangling in water, he said, I choose you, Alex, whatever the cost. The declaration ignited hope and terror. And if it destroys us? He shrugged. Better destroyed together. But fate intervened. Dad overheard a hushed conversation. Fragments about love and leaving. Confrontation loomed. What's going on with you two? He demanded over breakfast. We froze, lies on our lips. Nothing, Jake said. Dad's eyes narrowed. Don't lie to me. I raised you better. The lie festered, guilt compounding. That afternoon, while baling hay, Jake collapsed from heat or stress. Rushing him inside, panic gripped me. As he recovered with water and rest, I held his hand openly. Dad walked in, seeing the tenderness. You boys, closer than I thought. His tone was neutral, but suspicion brewed. Evening brought clarity or confusion. Alone with Dad, I tested waters. What if someone in the family was different? He sighed. Different how? Gay, I ventured. He paused, then, I'd love him still, but it'd be hard. Town wouldn't understand. Relief mixed with dread. If only he knew the full truth. Jake and I talked deep into the night. We need a plan, he said. Leave or fight. Options weighed. Urban anonymity versus rural roots. Emotions clashed. Love versus loyalty. Self versus society. The farm's isolation amplified our dilemma, turning every sunrise into a countdown. Dad's unwitting comment lingered. A fragile bridge over churning waters. Jake and I navigated carefully, affection hidden in chores and conversations. But the pull was magnetic, drawing us into risky territory. One morning, as we milked cows in the dawn light, Jake's hand grazed mine. I can't pretend anymore, he whispered. I nodded, resolve hardening. But pretense was our shield. At lunch, Dad announced a town meeting on community values. Alarm bells rang. Gotta stand against the rot, he said. Jake excused himself, face ashen. The meeting that evening was a powder keg. In the community hall, voices rose against urban influences, eroding traditions. A speaker decried same-sex marriage, cheers erupting. Jake and I sat in back, invisible yet exposed. This is our fight, he murmured. I squeezed his knee under the table, a silent vow. Returning home, tension snapped. How can we live here? Jake exploded in the truck. They'd lynch us. Hyperbole, but fear valid. Rural America, for all its beauty, harbored shadows. We change minds, I countered naively. Starting with Dad. He laughed bitterly. Dream on. That night, under covers in our shared room. Echoes of childhood. Whispers turned intimate. Tell me your fears, I said. Jake opened up. Rejection, violence, loss. But losing you scares me most. Vulnerability bonded us, emotions raw. No physical lines crossed, but hearts entangled deeper. Conflict escalated externally. A cousin, nosy Emily, cornered me. You and Jake seem off. Everything okay? Deflection failed. Her eyes probed. Later, she confided in Dad. Suspicions voiced. Confrontation came at dinner. Emily says you two are hiding something. Forks paused. Jake met Dad's gaze. We're close, that's all. Dad pressed. Close how? Silence stretched. I'm gay, Dad, Jake blurted. The room froze. Dad's face cycled shock, anger, sorrow. How long? Years. Tears welled. Why hide? Fear, Jake admitted. Dad stood, pacing. I don't understand, but you're my son. A tentative acceptance, but the full truth remained buried. Relief was short-lived. Word spread like wildfire. Small towns thrive on gossip. Neighbors stared, whispers followed. Mr. Harlan stopped by, concerned. Heard about Jake. Shame. Dad defended fiercely a shift, but pressure mounted. Jake faced slurs at the feed store, fists clenched. Internally, our bond strained under scrutiny. If they knew about us. I trailed. Jake nodded. It'd be over. Debates raged. Was our love incestuous or inevitable? Society screamed yes to the former, but feelings defied logic. Blood doesn't define love, Jake argued. Society does, I retorted. A pivotal moment. A late-night drive to clear heads. Parked by the river, stars reflecting on water, Jake proposed. Run away with me. Chicago, fresh start. Temptation surged. Abandon Dad? Guilt anchored me. He'd understand eventually, but doubt poisoned the dream. Back home, Dad waited up. Talk to me, boys. Vulnerability spilled. Jake shared city struggles, I my confusions. Dad listened, surprising empathy. Your mom always said love wins. Echoes of her letters. But when pressed on us, we hedged. Just brothers. I lied. The lie cracked us. Next day, in the fields, argument flared. We can't live half-truths, Jake said. Then what? Confess. Sarcasm laced my words. Maybe. Defiance in his eyes. Fear gripped me. Loss of family, home. Social ripples widened. Church friends distanced, invitations ceased. Dad felt the sting. They're wrong, he grumbled. Growth but slow. Jake volunteered at a nearby LGBTQ group, finding community. Come with, he urged. I did, meeting others with stories mirroring ours, minus the sibling twist. Inspiration struck. Perhaps our love was unique, but not alone in taboo. Yet ethics clashed. One member shared, love who you love, but hurt no one. Did we hurt? Family, society, yes. Crisis peaked when Emily confronted Jake privately. I saw you two by the pond. That's not brotherly. Denial crumbled. It's love, he admitted, horror on her face. That's sick, she threatened to tell. Panic ensued. We confided in Dad partially. Emily knows about me, Jake said. Dad sighed. Handle it. But the net tightened. Emily's ultimatum. Leave or expose. For the family's sake. Choices loomed. Fight, flee, or fracture. Emotions churned, love versus duty. Jake packed a bag secretly. I'm going. Come or not. Heartbreak loomed. In a tearful porch talk I chose. I can't leave you. Bags packed, we faced Dad. We're leaving together. Confusion furrowed his brow. Why both? Truth time. Because we love each other. More than brothers. Shock silenced him. That's not right. Pain in his voice. Arguments flew. Nature, nurture, sin. Love isn't sin, Jake pleaded. Dad wept. A broken man. I can't accept this. Departure dawn broke hearts. Hugs, tears, promises to call. Driving away, farm shrinking in rear view, freedom bittersweet. The highway stretched endless, Iowa fading into Illinois' urban sprawl. Jake drove, hand on mine, but silence spoke volumes. Did we do right? I asked. He squeezed. Had to, but doubt shadowed our escape. Chicago loomed, a haven of anonymity, yet guilt trailed like exhaust. Settling into Jake's small apartment, the city buzz contrasted farm quiet. No prying eyes, but internal judges persisted. What now? I wondered aloud. Jobs, routines, normalcy attempted. But our relationship, unlabeled, defied norms. Friends met us as brothers. A half-truth chafing. Conflicts arose subtly. Jake's gay friends welcomed him openly, but our dynamic raised brows. You two seem close, one noted. Evasion became art. Social gatherings highlighted isolation, couples free, us hidden. Why can't we be out? I pressed. Jake hesitated. Even here, judgment for siblings. Research deepened understanding or confusion. Forums debated genetic sexual attraction, rare but real for reunited siblings. But we weren't separated, ours was lifelong. Psychologists warned of dysfunction, society of immorality. Yet personal peace eluded labels. Family ties strained. Dad called sporadically, conversations awkward. How's the city? Avoidance of truths. Emily's silence bought with distance, but resentment festered. She hates us, Jake said. I nodded, pain sharp. Emotional highs and lows cycled. Moments of bliss. Walks in parks, shared meals, laughter echoing. This is us, Jake affirmed. But lows crashed. Arguments over secrecy. I want to hold your hand publicly, I confessed. Someday, he promised, but when? A job for me in graphic design grounded us. Jake's marketing role thrived, but therapy beckoned. A counselor, LGBTQ friendly, listened without judgment. Explore feelings, she advised. Sessions unearthed roots, shared traumas, mom's death bonding us uniquely. Is it healthy? We asked. If consensual and non-harmful, she hedged. But harm lurked. News of rural hate crimes reminded of risks. Dad's health declined, guilt amplifying. We should visit, I suggested. Jake balked. Not ready. Stalemate. Turning point. A pride event. Amid rainbows and cheers, we blended. For once, open affection, kisses, hugs. Liberation surged. This could be every day, Jake said. Inspiration to come out broader. But backlash hit. A leaked photo from the event, us together, reached Emily via social media. She called, furious. You're flaunting incest. The word stung. Threats, exposed to family, town. Panic. Dad learned indirectly. A tearful call. Is it true? You and Jake. Denial impossible. Yes. Silence, then sobs. How could you? Explanations fell flat. Love happened. Disownment loomed. Don't come back. Heartbreak compounded. Jake blamed himself. I ruined us. Comfort turned to clash. We chose this. Tempers flared. Space needed. I crashed with a friend, reflection time. Alone, truths crystallized. Love transcended blood, but costs mounted. Society's rejection, family's fracture. Worth it? Reunion with Jake mended. Resolve strengthened. We fight together. Advocacy emerged. Jake joined support groups for unconventional relationships. Stories shared. Polyamory, age gaps, taboos challenged. Ours fit, albeit extreme. Love is love. The mantra. But reality bit. Job discrimination whispers, social circles shrinking. Are we happy? I asked. Jake paused. Happier than hiding. Climax built with Dad's hospitalization, heart issues from stress. Guilt drove us back. Hospital reunion tense. Dad frail, eyes weary. Why? He asked. Honesty poured. Years of feelings, suppression, explosion. We didn't choose this. Debate ensued bedside. Bible says. Dad started. Bible says love thy neighbor. Jake countered. Tears, hugs. I don't understand. But I love you boys. Partial acceptance, a crack in the wall. Town reaction mixed. Some shunned, others surprised with support. A neighbor, live your life. Change glacial but possible. Back in Chicago, we built anew. Therapy continued, boundaries set. Love evolved, deeper, resilient. Yet questions lingered. Was our path right? Society evolved on gay rights. Would it on this? Life in Chicago settled into a rhythm. Our bond tested but enduring. Mornings with coffee and kisses, evenings with talks of dreams. But shadows of the past lingered. Reminders in every call home. Dad's health improved, conversations thawing. Miss you boys, he'd say, a olive branch. Social circles expanded cautiously. We confided in trusted friends. Reactions varied. Shock, acceptance, curiosity. As long as you're happy, most said. But some distanced, echoes of rural rejection. Society's not ready, Jake noted. We pushed on, advocates in small ways. Emotional depths plumbed further. Anniversaries of Mom's death brought reflection. She'd want us happy, I said. Jake agreed, her letters talismans. But guilt over family strain persisted. Emily remained estranged, a wound unhealed. A major conflict arose with legal whispers. Marriage impossible, rights precarious. What if something happens? I worried. Discussions of wills, powers of attorney, practicalities of forbidden love. Community involvement grew. Volunteering at LGBTQ centers, sharing sanitized stories. Inspiration from others' resilience. Your journey matters, a mentor said. Validation. Highs peaked at a quiet commitment ceremony. Just us and close allies. Vows exchanged. Through judgment and joy. Rings simple, symbols profound. But lows followed. Media sensationalized similar stories. Debates raging online. Incest or love? Headlines screamed. We avoided spotlights, but parallels stung. Are we monsters? Jake asked once, vulnerable. No, human, I reassured. Years blurred, routines solidifying. Careers advanced, home bought, a sanctuary. Dad visited tentatively, awkward but warm. Seeing you happy helps, he admitted. Bridges mended slowly. Reflections on choices. Regrets? Few. Pain shaped growth. We challenged norms, Jake said. Pride swelled. Yet society evolved unevenly. Progress on gay rights, but taboos endured. Our story, private, sparked internal debates. Right or wrong? In quiet moments, under city stars dimmer than farms, we pondered. Love conquered, but at what cost? As our tale closes, one question remains. Is romantic love between consenting adult siblings ever morally justifiable?